The time is now to architect a life of excellence. What will we do? Who will we become? We decide today. This is Learn, Do, Become Radio with April and Eric Perry. Let's move onward and upward together.
Hello and welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio.
Welcome everybody.
I'm April Perry.
And I'm Eric Perry.
And today we're talking about our embarrassing secrets.
They are
Sounds really
embarrassing.
bad.
We have lots of embarrassing secrets.
But we're going to talk about how it's actually time to look at our realities and look at what's happening in our lives and to be able to move forward.
And I actually think the episode and the post would actually be better titled Embarrassing Realities, like embarrassing situations, because I think we keep things secret because, yes, we're embarrassed by them. We don't want everyone to know all the stuff that may be not perfect about us or wrong. But it doesn't mean we have to be like so worried and secretive about it. I think it's just realities. And I think most people share a lot of the same issues or challenges we face. So yeah, we might be embarrassed by things, but there are realities. We can figure out how to move forward past them. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
So today I'm sharing one that I'm okay talking about publicly, but it's taken me about a year and a half to even be willing to talk about it. And it's that when I sleep, I need to use a CPAP and a whole mask and a whole getup. And we actually have a picture of it to accompany this podcast.
For those of you unfamiliar with CPAP, it stands for continuous positive air pressure, meaning air is being forced into your lungs and into your body to keep you alive or better rested while you sleep.
Now, this is a genetic thing for me. I think that my mom had it, not 100% sure, but there's really nothing I can do about it. I just need to wear this CPAP to help me to sleep. So the thing is, when I started wearing the CPAP, it was really humbling for me because when I pictured getting married and I just started, using this a year and a half ago or so. And Eric and I have been married now for 20 years. So this wasn't through all of our
married life. I got 18 years of Sleeping Beauty.
I really pictured myself looking like Sleeping Beauty while I was in my bed and that Eric would look over at me in the morning. And
Even though the embarrassing reality is that none of us look that good in the morning, whether it's Sleeping Beauty or not. We all wake up with bed head and bed face, and it's awesome.
I pictured myself really looking beautiful, but then there was one day that Eric and I were taking a nap and I was sleeping with my full gear on with a CPAP. And he looked over at me and he was kind of shocked and he said, "Honey, I love you so much, but do you know who you look like?" And I said, "Who?"
Through the mask.
"Who?" And he pulls up on his phone. He Googled Bane. It was this man. I don't know what movie he's in.
I haven't even seen the Batman movie. I just know he's like one of the villains in one of the Batman movies.
With
he's got like
this
big face grill on and strapped over the top and the side of his head. And I'm like, I've seen this image on the internet a few places. I'm like, there are some similarities here.
So I'm cracking up. I had to take off the CPAP to laugh that hard. Oh my gosh, it's just funny. And so sometimes what we picture our lives looking like is not what it actually ends up looking like. And in fact, Eric, though, has made it really fun because this could be a source of contention.
As much fun as you can make a CPAP.
But I appreciated that he supported me through it. We're going to talk about some principles of how you support people through changes and how we move forward and that type of thing. But in the evenings when I'm getting all ready for bed and strapped up, Eric has funny things that he'll do or say.
I'll just riff and make up stuff. And it requires
new all
both
the time.
members of the relationship or the marriage to have like a good sense of humor about stuff. But yeah, like I'll just see something, I'll have like a song pop into my head, like I can rework that. So
oh my gosh. Like
strap it up, dum 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 dum, strap it up, dum 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 dum. And then I make up some of the lyrics there.
Or he pretends that he's Darth Vader, and so...
Oh, yeah, you can take all kinds of stuff. Like, you can do the whole Darth Vader thing,
so
or like a fighter jet pilot.
Fighter jet pilot.
Okay, so we'll do Darth Vader first.
It's the...
Because we were talking this morning, and April's like, yeah, you could do your Darth Vader sound, and it sounds like... And I just have to wonder, there's definitely a difference in how boys and girls make sound effects. Because anybody who's watched, not that I'm perfect at it, but like Star Wars movies... Luke, I am your father. And so we just make those sounds. And she's cracking up trying to push air back into the CPAP, and it's giving continuous positive air pressure.
Stop making me laugh while I'm
good air
putting
mixture.
this on.
Not a good air mixture.
My favorite is he has a song he sings to me, and you're gonna sing it for the podcast.
It just popped
right?
up out of the blue. When I'm not a vocal performer here, but I saw it. I'm like, it came into my head and I couldn't hold it back.
Because people who have CPAPs, they call themselves
hose heads. Hose head nation arise, and many people listening to this podcast.
I am a hose head.
You might be a hose head. You might be a proud CPAPper, and that is awesome. We salute you and hope you're getting much better rest than you were before. So for that, I sing this little song in your honor. Hose in time, time to set up all of my wonderful sleeping supplies. Hose in time, it's time to cover up my nose, my mouth, my ears, and my eyes. I know how I need to get strapped up. I can't wait to breathe through my face cup. Hose in time. Time to set up all of my wonderful sleeping supplies.
Okay, tell me that you can
Cue the
keep
Adam
a
Sandler
straight face.
guitar chord at the end. So if any of you have some struggles or worry about putting on that mask at the end of the day, you just listen to Hosing Time and you put it on proudly and get a good night's rest.
I was trying not to laugh too much through that so people could totally use that as their ringtone or something like
Yeah, people want that as their ringtone. I totally see a lot of requests for downloads.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's funny, right? I mean, as we actually look at what's going on, it is funny. And I can laugh at it. I don't love that I have sleep apnea. I don't love that I need to use a CPAP. But as we're moving forward and as we're solving some of these challenges that we have, and now as I'm able to kind of talk about this embarrassing secret, it actually makes things easier.
But why is it an embarrassing secret? It's a reality. It's a little
man.
embarrassing, but like, I'm curious, what's the percentage of humans or Americans that use a CPAP? It's pretty high. It's
I don't
higher
know.
than you
I think it just feels embarrassing because it just looks so weird. Like when the kids walk in our room and they see me like this, they're like, whoa, Mom. And then I was checking with our kids and I said, I want to make sure none of you guys have sleep apnea since it's a genetic thing. And they're like, Mom, we don't care. We're not wearing a CPAP.
Give them a few more years where they don't sleep so well.
They don't want to do it. Okay, but so although this is my story and I'm talking a little bit about my CPAP, ultimately, we're talking about your story. And we're talking about how all of us are struggling with something, but we believe that it's time that we actually face our challenges. So whatever it is that's holding us back, we need to start facing that and moving forward with power. So first, I just want to give you a little bit of background. For most of my life, I have felt tired. As soon as I would wake up in the morning, I would start planning my first nap for the day. And
we always schedule time for Mom, April, to take a nap for at least 30 to 60 minutes during each day.
Every day.
And it was kind of like a badge of honor. Like, I'm able to schedule and be organized and get things figured out, so I still have time to take a nap. And it wasn't just the nap was a reward, it was a necessity.
Oh, it was like I was going to fall apart and have a tantrum if I didn't get my nap. Not because I was trying to be childish or I was trying to just get extra sleep, but I honestly couldn't function. So I was taking a nap every day, all the time. And I would apologize to God because I felt like I was so weak. Because I would see other people, especially like Eric, who doesn't need a ton of sleep, who could just go all day and they had so much energy. And then there was me, and I was just tired literally all the time, just waiting for my next rest, my next chance. And I thought I was just doing a bad job at life. I thought, I'm not as strong as other people. And then I kind of blamed it on, well, I'm a busy student, or I'm a busy mother, or we just have a lot on our plate, or maybe there's some stressful things going on. So I just thought I was tired because just the way I was managing things. And then Eric, who's sleeping right next to me and who notices that something's going on, would just say, honey, I don't think that you sleep. Now, I'm trying to remember why you said that. Was it just because I was jerking a lot at night? Or why are you laughing?
It might have been the jerking. It might have been the non-breathing during the middle of the night. There's so many things. Like, I don't think you sleep well.
He was like, I don't think you sleep. And then my response, because I was so exhausted, would be something like, so I'm already failing at pretty much everything, and now I'm not even good at sleeping. I mean, it was just like, yeah, hit me, just give me a low blow. I just felt like it was so frustrating.
Like I said, I'm the jerk that causes all the problems.
So those were not my best responses, but
maybe I should say, I didn't think you were sleeping very well. What can I do to help you sleep better?
That's what he meant. But I just felt like this is another place that I'm inadequate, right? Something like that. Okay, so about a year and a half ago, though, I finally went and got a sleep study.
because I lovingly and gently encourage you to do that. It's like, it's
He's
time.
like, it's
You gotta
time.
go figure this out for you.
Go do it. So I went and got the sleep study. And I learned that I was never, ever getting steady REM. Like most people have a certain percentage. I was getting about a third of that. And even during my REM, I was waking up all the time and I stopped breathing. So it explained why I was so tired. And the doctor recommended I started using a CPAP. Now, even though I now sleep with a whole lot of stuff on my head, I just need to share how relieved I felt when I finally found out there was a reason for all of that fatigue. After I left the doctor's office and I had this full report of my sleep study showing everything that was going on, all the little lines and everything, and I just sat in the car and I just cried for like 45 minutes looking at it, feeling like I have evidence now for why I've been so tired my entire life. And it was so comforting to know that it wasn't my fault that I was tired. It was just that there was something I didn't know, which was that I wasn't sleeping. So this is just the first point I want to connect to your story, because whatever it is that you feel is your weakness or your embarrassment or your challenge, I think that we often stay in difficult circumstances because we think it's our fault and we think that there's no way out.
And I think that's really an important point. That's the first point we're trying to make here, but it has two fallacies in it, right? We think it's our fault and we think there's no way out. Like April's sleep problem and whatever challenge or obstacle or difficulty you might be going through or just come through or about to go into, A, it's most likely not your fault, and B, there is always a way out. There's always a way to figure some plan, some course of action, whether it's just your own efforts or the efforts of those around you or even divine help. There is a way forward, a way to improve things. It may not make it perfect, it may not solve everything, but things can get better, and it isn't just your fault, something that you've caused.
And sometimes we do make mistakes. If I say something that's not kind, or I go and I break a law, or I do something that really I ought not to have done, yes. Sometimes our choices are the causes. And in that case, that's where we had the ability to be able to make up for that and to be able to figure out how to make those things right. But sometimes really things are hard because it's just something that we don't know yet. So I want you to just ask yourself this question. Do you keep going through the same frustrations over and over again, whether it's inside of a marriage or a relationship or as a parent or at your job or something like that, because you think that it's your fault that you're experiencing those things in the first place? That's just something important to consider. And then I just wanted to bring up, this is something that we've encountered a lot as we were teaching productivity classes, and you can go through that training at learndobecome.com/step. But people would come to us who are drowning in piles and they've got just stuff all over their desks or around the perimeter of their rooms or filling rooms. And they would say, I'm just not an organized person. I'm just not good at doing these things. I'm just stressed out. I'm a mess. I mean, people use the phrase hot mess a lot. Oh, I'm a hot mess. Kind of like there's just something wrong with me and that's why I can't move forward. And so we see a lot of that same relief from people who will come into our STEP program, our Steps to Everyday Productivity program, and they'll feel this instant relief thinking, oh my goodness, it's not that I'm a messy person or that I'm just disorganized. It's that I didn't know how to actually organize my brain to put things in places and learn how to get clarity and order in my surroundings. So did you want anything there?
No, I think that's an important point. Like, it's not just organizing your physical space, like a desk or a kitchen nook or an office somewhere. It's really learning basic principles that we found a lot of that are helpful to organize your mind, right? Your thoughts, your feelings. Like, if you get that kind of organized, the internal, it goes right along with organizing the external. They go hand in hand. And we've had a lot of success teaching a lot of the people in our community how to do this in a way that really does. It transforms their lives in the way they want.
We got a really beautiful comment posted on our website from Jody, and I just wanted to share a little bit of it because I think hearing it in someone else's own words is really helpful. And then we'll move on to a few other points we want to talk about our embarrassing challenges. But Jody just said, I want to thank you for all you've done for me. She said, I remember you posted a podcast and you said to conquer the toughest room in your house, and that is what I did. I didn't have a lot of piles of stuff in my home, and my home was pretty organized except my home office. But then over the past year and a half, she had a job change and she said it was pretty traumatic for her. Then she says this, it wasn't until I conquered my home office that I was able to let a lot of that baggage of the old job go. So I just started in one corner of my home office. It took me around 12 hours to go through every bit of stuff in that room. I'll also tell you there were some painful moments of having to let go, but I did. And then after conquering that room, I found that the rest of my home just fell into place like dominoes falling. It has brought much relief and joy. I can't really explain what all it has done for me. It isn't just the physical piles that I conquered, but there were emotional piles, spiritual piles, etc. that needed to go. And she went ahead and shared some additional beautiful thoughts about how she's moving forward and so excited about life, and now she's looking to dream more, and I love that. But I just want to emphasize that if you feel like, well, I was just raised messy, or I was just raised in a family that didn't value education, or I just don't have the skills or abilities or knowledge or talents to be able to move forward, I think we need to change those thoughts immediately. Okay, next point I want to make is that fixing a difficult issue isn't always easy. Once you finally do identify, okay, like I had sleep apnea, or oh, I have a tendency towards this, or I have this addiction, or I have this problem in my family, whatever it is, it's usually not going to be solved by just one quick little thing that you do, the magic pill or the magic button. So I bought my first CPAP on the way home from the doctor's office that day after I'd sat in the car, and I was so excited that it wasn't my fault. I went to the medical supply office, and I was kind of in like desperation because they said, well, we don't know if we have the one in stock that you want. It might take a few days. And I was up at the front of the desk saying, seriously, can you just get me something tonight? Like I'm so tired. I need help right now. And they took compassion on me and helped me get my CPAP. But that first night was terrible. I was up every hour and a half to 2 hours, waking up all night because I had this thing on my face and I was getting thirsty, and I just didn't know exactly what I was doing. Now, over time, we've been able to figure things out. I actually have my new CPAP that I love that has a humidifier on it. And it's like the Cadillac of CPAPs. It was actually less expensive than the first one, but it's so good.
Because the first one was a travel model that didn't have...
it would just blow the air out all the time, and it didn't have a humidifier.
So it's just blowing dry air, drying
so
out.
I couldn't sleep on my right side where I'd blow air all over Eric.
I think it's hilarious you refer to a CPAP as the Cadillac of CPAPs.
Oh my gosh. My mom always referred to things as like the Cadillac of something. I don't know. But
it's like the Cadillac of cars.
Yes. But the thing is, even though I've gone through this and I've been trying different masks and trying different machines and going through all the different steps, like it's still a struggle for me and for Eric, because we're trying to figure out, well, how do we sleep? And if I'm jerking and kicking and I've got
she's also a little bit of a
machine.
light sleeper during different times of the day. So if I'm anywhere near her and I do something that wakes her up, we're trying to figure out how we get her the best uninterrupted 7 or 8 hours of sleep. So it's an ongoing process. But I think that's a good point. These first two principles we're trying to highlight here, it goes really along with the premise of learn, do, become, right? We learn, we understand where the faults are, where the needs are. We learn what needs to be done. But then the implementation, the second step, the doing, making the changes, it doesn't just happen easily or overnight every time. It's a process of doing consistently, figuring out the bugs, the kinks, and working them out so that you can actually have success. And it takes a little time sometimes.
Well, and even just getting the sleep study, when I looked at the pamphlet for the sleep study, it showed this picture of this older gentleman, maybe 75 years old, sleeping like on this nice soft pillow with a nice blanket. And I thought, okay, my sleep study looks something like that.
We have pictures of when they wired her up for her sleep study. She may not let me post them.
Oh my gosh.
They are the funniest photos ever. Like, we're talking to like 20 to 24 leads going into all parts of her
and
head.
And they had like a red crayon. They were marking X's on my forehead.
It was amazing. And then they tuck her into bed, and I'm like,
how
there
are you
is
gonna
no
sleep?
way you're going to sleep like this. This is impossible.
Well, it was a Friday night, so it was like our date night. So Eric takes me over and helps me get set up.
I know how to romance my lady.
So we're sitting in the sleep study room, and they walk in with this cart. I mean, and I felt like Frankenstein. I mean, it was like stuff all over me, and they kind of had to braid my hair because I had to put the things all over my head.
All over her head, neck, shoulders,
oh my gosh,
chest. Like,
if I can find the picture, I'll post it with.
And then motion sensors like on her midsection, her legs.
My eyelids. They had to check my eyelids. Amazing. I mean, there was stuff everywhere, and so Eric is like trying not to laugh while the lady's putting all the stuff.
I'm trying to be supportive and not like make April feel like crazy.
It was so bad. But the thing is, like, and my daughter, actually, Leah, we were talking with her. I was telling her I was getting this post ready, and she goes, Mom, are you seriously going to post those pictures online? And the thing is, okay, yes, they're a little embarrassing and they're not beautiful photos. And I'm not using them as our podcast cover or anything like that.
Yet.
But I think it's time for us to stop pretending that life is picture perfect for everybody. And I feel like by being able to just talk about this and laugh about it and be able to share it with you guys, that although we're not trying to like air dirty laundry and talk about all of our problems, just being able to acknowledge that there are some things that are really hard and embarrassing going on behind the scenes, I think it gives us a lot more compassion. I mean, we've had people who've been reaching out to us lately wanting us to do some promotions with them or some activities with them or podcasts with them. And I've had to say no to a lot of things because my sleep and my sanity, I mean, like, I have to put that first. And I know if I overschedule myself or I say yes to too many things, I'm just going to end up so tired. And right now, that's such, like, good sleep is such a premium to me that I have to just be really careful what I take on, which I think is true for all of us, being careful about that. Okay, so in spite of the challenges, though, I feel like I'm less emotional, more optimistic generally. Yesterday was not such a good day. So
I'm not
maybe
saying
I
anything. I'm
shouldn't
just
say
sitting
this
over
right
here
now.
quietly.
I don't have the whole sleeping thing down, but I feel like it's been a huge improvement.
We're
where
getting there.
now, at least, like yesterday, I didn't need a nap. I was able to go a whole day, and I wasn't freaking out because I didn't get a nap, and I got to bed.
Well, and I think it's
a
also
reasonable
important for you and people listening. Like, no one's keeping track of how quickly you're making the progress or how fast you're moving. It's like you don't need to like keep track. Did I get a nap? Did I take a nap today or not? Like the phrase "take a nap" implies like you're
Feeling
taking
guilty.
something that you should feel
Yeah.
about, as
Yeah.
opposed to just getting a nap or getting some rest. Like if you need a rest or a nap, take it. Like
Yeah.
get the nap. So I think it's just this process of like giving ourselves a little grace, understanding how quickly we're able to make the progress in the area we're focused on, and just do it.
Well, and the reason why we're sharing this right now as well is because we're getting ready to launch a new membership called Arise. We're really excited
We're like
about
super,
it.
super excited
Oh my
about
gosh. I mean, I was looking back at my notes. I have been journaling about this, brainstorming about it, drawing little pictures of it for more than 3-4 years. This has been
At
something
least 4
we've been
years.
doing for a long
We're
time.
not going to release all that stuff at once, so people are overwhelmed.
Yeah,
But we have
it's a
some
little at a
great,
time.
exciting things to do with an amazing kind of community that we're going to be building through Arise. It's going to be a lot of fun. Learning how to learn, grow, and become what we want to become together.
But we want to level up our lives. We want to continually be improving in a way that works, doesn't make us feel exhausted, where we can still prioritize God and family and doing the work that's most important.
And there's so many people part of the Learn to Become community who want more of that as well.
Yeah.
They want kind of a more focused, more guided, kind of connected experience there. So there are like so many people in our community already saying, okay, let's do this. Let's move forward. So
Yeah.
we're excited to finally get it started and start building out there together as a community.
Yes. So watch for more podcasts and get on our email list. Make sure that you're signed up at learndobecome.com as we're preparing to launch Arise. You can also go to learndobecome.com/arise, ARISE, to just get on the wait list for it and we'll let you know it's coming. But the thing is, as we're getting ready to level up our lives, I don't believe it's possible to level up our lives until we actually address the problems or opportunities or challenges that are right in front of us. Because if I were to continue feeling exhausted, if I never got my sleep study, if I never started using my CPAP or started really understanding what was happening to me when I was not sleeping, I can't set bigger goals and say, oh, let me just level up my life or let me dream bigger, because all I want to do is sleep. I'm just so tired and I'm just going to bring more exhaustion into my life. But sometimes when we actually start looking at our challenges and our problems, it's uncomfortable and it's risky. And when we put ourselves out there, well, what if we fail? I mean, there's all these thoughts that might be going on behind the scenes. But I mean, Eric and I were just having a conversation about this yesterday. We want a great marriage. We want a great family. But that means that we have to talk about things that aren't comfortable sometimes. We have to share, hey, I've been feeling frustrated about this, or how have you been feeling about that? Or actually being able to talk about things and address them, where a lot of couples and a lot of people just don't talk about it. They just, well, let's just move on to the next thing and we just won't discuss it. I mean, that's something I've seen in a lot of marriages from the people that I know and love. They just don't talk. So being able to talk about issues inside of a marriage or inside of a community or inside friendships, something I think is super important. But ultimately, just kind of the final point that I wanted to bring up is that I believe that these challenges are good for us.
Not always fun.
Not always fun, but good for us, because the reason why I think productivity is one of my strengths is because I had really huge goals, but very little energy with which to accomplish them. So it's not like, oh, I want to work effectively and let me learn how to manage things. It was like, if I'm going to make it through the day, I've got to learn how to use my time well and get things organized. I can't be living in clutter because that was taking up all of my energy. I was spending all of my time moving things around in circles, feeling stressed, feeling overwhelmed, procrastinating, and just feeling like I couldn't move forward at all. And now that I've learned how to be more productive, then guess what started happening once I started getting sleep? It was like, now I felt like I could do so much better. And it's been awesome. So just some final thoughts is that all of us need to make changes. All of us need help in one way or another. And it's not embarrassing. And it's okay if we have areas where we're either, well, we might think we're inadequate or where we're just struggling. I think being okay with that. And sometimes it is really not attractive and not beautiful as we're plugging away at the solutions. But I love the concept of moving forward boldly in the direction of our dreams.
That's the row.
I love that. And I love figuring out our pain points and what's slowing us down. And I genuinely believe that our challenges and our embarrassing secrets,
Realities, situations.
are in our lives to help us to grow, to become stronger, to arise. And I believe there is power from above that is available to lift us, transform us, and prepare us for what's coming next. I honestly believe that God has big plans for all of us, and we don't have to do those, but if we're excited about contributing in a more powerful way, if we're excited about showing up in a bigger way, if we just want to have stronger relationships or feel happier, I think those are really inspired feelings. And I think that if we have those desires, we need to do whatever we can to figure out how to actually achieve those. So whatever embarrassing secret is keeping you up at night right now, or stressing you out during the day, or weighing you down when you're trying to move forward and you're just thinking, I can't live my dreams because of blank, I just want to emphasize that there is help and there is hope available. So a next action might be to have a little sit down with your embarrassing secret.
Have a sit
Have a
down with
little
that.
sit down.
We need to talk. You embarrassing reality situation secret. We need a little chat.
Well, and then identify just one thing that you could do to start moving forward, whether it's a doctor visit, like for me, or whether it's getting a new book or talking with a friend. I mean, there was someone who emailed me the other day and said, I just want to let you know the podcast you did with Dr. David Burns has changed my life because I was going through some mental health issues and I just thought I just could never get over them. And after hearing you talk about it with Dr. Burns, I realized I could do something, and I'm doing so much better now. I've been reading the book. I think they went and saw a therapist and just said, hey, I'm moving forward and I'm feeling so much better. And that's the kind of thing that I love because, you know, your challenges are going to look different than everyone else's, but everyone just has something that's hard. And I'm hopeful that by talking about my CPAP and by bringing Eric on here to sing to you guys,
It can change your life.
that's the hope.
Well, I think that not to beat the learn to become, horse to death, but it really is. These changes and any change in life, it's about learning or understanding the thing we don't understand or know. And it can be done with in a lot of ways. Like April said, like listening to podcasts, checking out a website, going and talking to an expert, talking to a friend, someone who's trusted, who has some experience in that. It might be reading a book or an article, but it's just figuring out, what do I not know? What do I not understand about this situation I'm facing? Because then, I grew up on G.I. Joe as a kid, and learning and knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. It's funny, but that's ingrained in my head, but knowing is half the battle. When you know or understand something, you can say, oh, well, this is now a new frame on my reality. I can see what needs to be changed or done or kind of implemented. And then, you can build a plan of action. And then, you need some motivation, some commitment to stick to it, that you learn and you do. And we want to help all of us, ourselves included, and each of you, become better than we are consistently, day by day, year by year, to become our best selves. That's why we're excited about this Arise program. So, again, definitely be thinking about that. Keep connected to it. And if you have any other, people out there who use a CPAP or hose heads out there
Hose heads
who
unite.
struggle with their reality, that common situation, you can go ahead and share this podcast, this recording with them to give them some hope, some humor, that they too can experience better sleep and better rest by sticking with that CPAP regimen.
If you want to post a photo on Instagram of you and
Oh,
your
that would be
CPAP.
awesome. Oh, Because honestly, to go back on the photo, not to belabor the close of this recording, but like honestly, April doesn't always look like that. I mean, she put on all the stuff she'll sleep with, like the max she goes to, because sometimes she'll take a nap during the day, so she likes the
Sometimes
eye
I don't
mask.
use the eye mask.
So the eye mask kind of blocks out the light, and sometimes she likes to fall asleep listening to a podcast or an audiobook. So it is funny, like you literally have every opening on her head, eyes, ears, mouth, and nose. I feel like we're doing like some sort of a
Children need to
little preschool song here, but every opening on her head is like taken care of. So she literally looks like a fighter pilot laying down for that magical mid-afternoon nap. But you don't have to feel like you're alone. If you want to post a photo of your favorite CPAP
Tag
moments,
learn to become.
hashtag LDB CPAP or CPAP. Hose heads unite. Like we could have some fun with this because honestly, there are a lot of people that use that. I mean, think about it. That technology didn't used to exist. So how many generations had some form of a sleep disorder, sleep apnea, and they weren't able to get, like my dad had it, never had a CPAP.
Yeah.
Like your mom did, and she probably never would have gotten checked or used a CPAP. I don't know.
Well, but whenever I complain about it, like, oh, I got to put my mask on, you know, because I can't just like fall asleep on the couch. Or Eric and I used to just chat and I'd fall asleep listening to his heartbeat. And I loved that. Now I can't. But whenever I complain, Eric's like, April, that's kind of a first world problem. Like, you have the ability to sleep now. And that's amazing.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. So a good night's rest, good night's sleep, you can't say too much about it because it really is valuable. It can set the trajectory and the course for your whole day. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a problem that, yeah, April's using that as the problem to kind of identify how to use a framework like this to kind of face it, learn it, address it, change it, make life better. So
All right.
we hope all of you guys have better lives as you identify and have a sit down with your embarrassing secret.
Sit down.
That little one-on-one and make things better. And let us know, in the comments or, send us something that lets us know how you're addressing some of the things. We'd love to hear from our community.
So if you're like, well, where do I go to do this? If you want to find all the links that we've referenced in this episode, go to learndobecome.com/episode 41. So that's
you might think it would be called /CPAP because it's now the CPAP episode. But no, it's /episode 41.
That's the number 41. And then you can hear... No. Hang on.
You got to leave this in here. No, you can't edit this one out. This is not getting edited out.
Yes, it is. We're taking this right out.
This might be the best part of the
podcast.
podcast.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out how to close it. But, okay, if you go to learndobecome.com/episode 41, you'll find the links to our Steps to Everyday Productivity program, STEP program, and you can join the waitlist for Arise, or you can go right to learndobecome.com/Arise for that. Have an amazing day. Thanks.
You guys are awesome. Take care. Sleep well.